Yo, this is your boy Crispy, once again back at it with another episode of Show and Talk. And so, as y'all know, we just finished up No Stream November. It was hard, but we got through it. Me and my guys, you know what I'm saying? The four movies that I reviewed from Commando all the way down to Moonfall were pretty good films. I felt like I made the right choice reviewing these movies. These were some of my favorite films. But now that it's over, I actually sat down and watched the movie on Tubi. So this movie I came across a little while ago. I didn't watch it at first because I thought it was something cheesy and was pretty much unfaithful to the source material, but that was me judging a label by its cover. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. I know it's a book, but in this case, this was a movie poster. So this was Dragonball from 1991. And I gotta say, the movie was actually pretty good. Now, when I first started watching it, I looked at it with, the expectations of, this movie's going to be bad. Who the hell is this villain? You know what I mean? Like, this villain was made for the movie. So, it kind of put me in the mind, though, like, when I first saw the villain and his soldiers, it kind of put me in the mind of Emperor Pilaf and his gang. You know what I'm saying? With the army behind him. So in the beginning, it shows this village being attacked by this guy. You know what I'm saying? In this movie, they refer to it as the Dragon Pearl, but I'm going to call it the Dragon Ball. You know what I'm saying? So they was looking for the Dragon Ball in this village. And the chief of the village decides to stay behind with some monks to protect it, but he winds up getting himself killed. And so after this, we pretty much meet Goku, which his name is Monkey Boy in this movie, but I'm going to refer to him as Goku. And his grandfather, he goes by Sparkle. But again, I'm going to refer to him as Grandpa. So they're out there, they're pretty much training in the woods. And the accuracy in this movie, it was there, but sometimes it wasn't. Like, it was just, things, it were all mixed up. But I didn't mind it. You know what I'm saying? Because it was more accurate than not as far as the characters and their personalities. So, after they get done training, Goku, he goes to look for some fish for him and his grandpa. And this is where Bulma comes into the picture. You know what I mean? In this movie, she goes by Sito. Now, remember, this movie was made in Taiwan. It was a Taiwanese film. So, I guess, I'm not sure if they were able to obtain the rights for the characters themselves or just the name. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's why the names were changed, or I don't know. But Bulma shows up, and the same interaction they had in the first episode of Dragon Ball was the same interaction that they had here. You know what I'm saying? Bulma almost hits Goku with her Jeep. But, Goku pretty much stops it. And Bulma, at this point, she's freaked out. So she starts shooting at him. And he does get hit, but the bullets did not affect him. Just like in the anime. You know what I'm saying? So, as they're talking, Goku's house gets attacked by the same men who attacked the village. And his grandfather is thought to be dead. So at this point, Goku decides to follow Bulma to go find these, people to avenge his grandfather and get the Dragon Ball. And then this is when they, run into Oolong. So Oolong in this movie, he has the pig form and everything like that. It shows him stalking this young girl in this grassy plain. And so Goku and Bulma shows up. And Goku pretty much intimidates him into following them. and then he takes his actual form, which is pretty much a human form. And so once that problem is solved, Oolong agrees to follow them, and this is when they come across Yamcha. Now I feel like this part of the movie was kind of rushed a little bit, but I get it. I think the movie was only like an hour and 20 some minutes long, but so they come across Yamcha, and Yamcha starts shooting at him. You know what I'm saying? Like the way he's dressed up in this movie, you would think he was some kind of prince or something like that, because in the anime he was a desert bandit. But in this movie, for some reason, he goes by Mr. Westwood. But again, I'm going to refer to him as Yamcha. So him and Goku, they have a fight, right? And then this is the part of the movie that it surprised me really, because in this part of the movie, when Bulma shows up, as soon as Yamcha sees Bulma, he runs away. He starts freaking out because he has a fear of women, just like, again, in the anime. And there's a version of Poir in this movie, but it's a bird this time. You know what I'm saying? So Yamcha runs away, and then the team, they continue their trek to find the people who, murdered his grandfather and took the Dragon Ball. And so they're sitting around a fire that night, and they're talking, and Oolong knows who Master Roshi is. He doesn't exactly know him, but he knows who he is. So the little girl, little girl, Goku and Bulma, they try to get him to, tell them where he is. And so Yamcha and one of the soldiers that was in, the villain's army overhears them talking about this information. And Yamcha disappears. And so he makes it to the Kame house before they do, and he tries to manipulate Master Roshi, which in this movie he goes by Turtle Man, but he tries to manipulate Master Roshi into fighting Goku and the gang. You know what I'm saying? So when Goku shows up, Master Roshi discovers that they're not trying to fight; they just needed his help to combat this army that's trying to get all 7 Dragon Balls. And so Master Roshi in this movie, he's accurate. He had the turtle shell and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? He had that same perverted personality as well. So before he was going to give them that Dragon Ball, he wanted to see Bulma without a top on. You know what I'm saying? It's like an anime. But Oolong winds up changing into Bulma, so, he goes out and he shows Master Roshi his chest, you know what I'm saying? And then he agrees to hand over the Dragon Ball. You know what I'm saying? So after this, Master Roshi is just, in all kind. He's just in shock, you know what I'm saying? Just like the anime. But he didn't have the nosebleed. And then this is where the army shows up on his island. And they wind up fighting the army, you know what I'm saying? And they get the Dragon Balls. They had 3 of them. And all 3 of them get snatched by this army. And it winds up blowing up Master Roshi's house. So at this point, everybody comes together. And then they go, confront this army. So it's like this war that breaks out between them and the army. And so the woman that was one of his right men, henchmen or whatever, she winds up getting killed by Oolong. She gets shot up, you know what I'm saying? And then the guy, because it was a woman and the guy who were pretty much the head of the army. And so the guy, though, this Terminator looking motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what he looked like. He looked like the Terminator painted in blue. So he gets it the worst, though. So, he's distracted with the gang, and then Bulma comes out of nowhere, takes the damn, because this dude had a freaking cannon, you know what I'm saying? And so she shot him point blank range when he was fighting Master Roshi, and it just blew the top half up. Like, the top half of his body just blew up, you know what I'm saying? And you just see his legs. It looked like he was just standing there. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't expecting that. But after this is when they confront the main villain. And so what happens is, it seems like none of them are a match for him. And then he resurrects the people that he killed in the village. You know, the little girl's people. And so the people starts walking towards them, you know, the gang at every angle. And so Goku winds up getting the Nimbus Cloud. Because, oh yeah, Nimbus makes an appearance in this movie too, which is another thing I like. You know what I mean? So Goku makes he calls out Nimbus, and he starts to confront the villain. You know what I'm saying? Because it turns out that his grandfather was still alive. The villain was going to kill his grandfather right there on the spot if they didn't hand over the Dragon Ball. So Goku and the villain, they have a fight. But Master Roshi knew that, you know, if he was able to shove the 7th Dragon Ball down the villain's throat, you know what I'm saying, he would explode because of the dragon. Because he had 6 of them already down his throat. And so they were successful at doing this. And then, you know, the villain, he blows up because of the dragon appears. And so the dragon grants the little girl her wish by getting her people back. You know what I'm saying? So that's where the movie ends. And then as the credits roll, we see Yamcha and Goku have a rematch. And I thought it was pretty dope, man. And then it was like a couple scenes in this movie where, including the ending, where they had like this early CGI. You know what I'm saying? While they were fighting. And I thought that was pretty interesting. You know what I'm saying? So, and that was pretty much the end of the movie. You know what I'm saying? They had their rematch and everything like that. And there was a few beam struggles too between Master Roshi and this villain. So I'm going to rate this movie. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. The reason why I'm giving it a 7 is because I'm not really a fan of too much wire work. You know what I'm saying? Like, the wire work in this movie was a little excessive, but I get it. You know what I'm saying? It's Dragon Ball. You got to do what you got to do to try to keep it accurate to the anime. The special effects, I can't really knock them because, again, this was 1991. So, yeah, it did good for what it was. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm going to say. But that's pretty much my review on Dragon Ball 1991. If you haven't seen it and you come across it on Tubi, just give it a watch. You know what I'm saying? I was curious because I wasn't even going to watch the movie this morning. You know what I'm saying? But I decided to go ahead and give it a watch because it always popped up every time I put it on Tubi. So, again, give this movie a watch. I think you might like it. But if you're not a fan of Dragon Ball, you might like it too because the martial arts choreography was pretty good as well. So, you might like it. You know what I mean? It's a strong chance you will like it. But then it's a very slim chance that you won't. You know what I mean? If you don't care about the source material at all, I mean, you probably won't. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But, that's my review for this movie. And, I will talk to you guys later. All right? Peace.